KTLA covering this uniquely and greatly. So we'll stay on it in real time. Hopefully you'll stay with us. Ashleigh Banfield is going to pick up our coverage right now.
Thank you, Chris Cuomo. I'm Ashleigh Banfield, and this time last night, I thought I would be talking tonight about the aftermath. I thought we'd be looking at burned out homes and businesses and tallying up the damage. But tonight, we are not. Instead, tonight, I have to report to you, there is a new fire called the Sunset Fire. It is creeping up the Hollywood Hills towards the Hollywood sign. Currently, it's about 20 acres, and all I can say to you is that this is so dangerously close to the extraordinarily concentrated Los Angeles city, to the thousands upon thousands of homes in Los Angeles City. The nervousness can't be denied in where these fires are hopscotching to and how fast they blow up. We didn't even know about the Sunset Fire until just a little while ago, and suddenly it's top of the news. The other horrible story here, 5 people dead in these wildfires, but they are 0% contained for the most part. Occasionally, we get an update that one small fire is out, but usually it's coupled with a story about another fire cropping up. The fires now are bigger than the island of Manhattan, and at one point, they were moving so fast, the only way I can best describe it is 10 football fields per minute. Think about it, 10 football fields per minute being devoured by these flames. We're just superimposing maps over top of a lot of these burn zones, and we're very thankful for the help of KTLA, our Nexstar affiliate, who's been just doing the most remarkable work in covering these live wildfires. The bizarre part of this is that they're beside one of the largest bodies of water in the world, the Pacific Ocean. And yet in those hills where you see those flames, there is barely enough water pressure to get the hoses to work. And in many areas, fire hydrants aren't working at all or reservoirs are dry. This has been the driest season for a very long time. There's been less than an inch of rain since last spring. And so because the season before was very wet, there was a lot of growth. And a lot of growth that got very dry. And hence, Santa Ana winds start picking up to 100 miles an hour, like a tornado, like a hurricane. Add a spark, and this is the result. Brand new fire erupting in the Hollywood Hills tonight. We're getting our cameras as close as we can to the Hollywood sign, which is usually the landmark most people associate with Los Angeles. There are about 1,000 structures that we can now affirmatively say have been destroyed. But mark my words, it is going to be so many more than that. That's just what can be counted. But no one's even at the count phase right now. They're still trying to fight the fires, oftentimes trying to find the fires. At this point, even getting to the people who need evacuation is a struggle because so many of the power grids have gone down and the cell service has gone down. It is what's called not a normal event. This is a firestorm. In quite the literal sense, it is a firestorm. The sunset or the sunrise this morning was in post-apocalyptic Los Angeles. The pictures that keep coming in, we can't even keep up with them because most of them we think are going to be the lead story. But with the Palisades and the Eaton fire and the Hearst fire and the Lydia fire and the Woodley fire and this new Sunset fire along with the Olivas fire and the Scout fire, again, 0% contained is a real headline for the evening. You've probably been watching a lot of this coverage throughout the day. So what I want to do for you right now is we have picked all of the most important video that's been collected, stories that have been captured on camera, and we put them all together for you so that you can relive the sights and sounds as people saw them on the ground throughout this terrible, terrible day.
There's a little bit of an issue getting hydrants. Hydrants aren't as commonly spaced out like they are in other communities, so we're having a little bit of an issue with that. Long driveways that are spaced out with no hydrants. And so that's been a frustration through the night.
There are dozens of cars. This looks like a movie set. Unfortunately, this is real. LA County Fire, they have to do what they have to do. They need to clear a path. So literally they're moving the cars, the SUVs. We're seeing Mercedes, very nice vehicles, Teslas up here. But that's because the car owners, they took their keys and they just started running. They left the cars here as the firefighters were trying to clear the pathway, clear the roadway. This is an emergency situation.
Essentially, the water is evaporating before the fire gets there.
And look at you see the water
so what is happening now?
Starting. Yeah. And maybe Chip will go talk to them, but during that press conference, look, he's going, I don't know, that it's unsustainable to fight multiple wildfires from our hydrants, that they just don't have the water.
They don't have the water,
right.
and then you lose the pressure.
And the pressure.
Whoa, it is still an inferno out here. You can see just how strong the flames. Oh, whoa, and you heard that explosion there. This is the back of a home here, trees up in flames at the moment.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of black smoke coming right at us right now, so I'm going to turn around for a moment. But you see all the other homes on this street, that one next to it, that one lost. It looks like this one over here might be okay, and then one right on the other side also lost. And then if you look over here to your right, this is also another home on the cul-de-sac just lost, and it's been like that. We basically walked, we were in Pasadena earlier. You may remember we were on a street, Glen Avenue in Pasadena, and also Montana, where there were some lost homes there. We just started following smoke and walking, and seems like every other street we come to, we find situations like this. If you look down here, there's even more loss. It looks like they were trying to save, see this kind of blue home here on the corner. This is, again, El Sereno Avenue and Figueroa Drive in Altadena. They had some firefighters on the roof when we got here, poking some holes in the roof, trying to do some work there. So hopefully they were able to save that house. But look at the car right in front of it. That car got scorched, and if you look back over there, we've got some guys on maybe their own house there with some hoses trying to keep the roof watered down to do what they can to save their own home. But everywhere you look, we've walked probably, what do you think, Andre? I'm with Andre Cox, photographer Andre Cox, maybe a good mile. And everywhere we go, we're seeing destruction, both on the Pasadena side and the Altadena side. If you look over here, another issue going on, look at those wires down in the middle of the street. We've seen that everywhere as well. We've seen tree limbs down all over the place. Actually, I think you see some right over here. There's some tree limbs down as well. So you've got those issues. You've got the fires going on. And then you got the winds. The winds have been kind of calm, but as we're talking to you now, they're picking up a little bit again. We did see one little bit of news. You've been reporting this with Sky 5 HD. A while ago, we saw an LA County fire helicopter fly overhead of this area. So we've got some air resources up in the area, but there's just too many fires and not enough firefighters in this whole area to cover all these different fires. And here we go again. They're on the roof of this home. Like I said, when we got here, looked like they were trying to save. We see some firefighters going in the back, but the home right next to it looks like a complete loss. So a lot of issues going on here in Altadena for firefighters to deal with, and they're just maybe hoping they can get some of these out and stop them from spreading to other houses. Here we see them getting some water on this home. So this might be a success as far as saving at least one home right here in Altadena.
We are looking at the area here in Malibu and the Pacific Palisades area. What you're looking at right now is where the origin of the fire had begun yesterday, Palisades Drive, right here in the center of the screen. And you can see all the homes that are tightly packed together here along Palisades Drive. These are the communities where people were trying to make their way down Palisades Drive to PCH and evacuate. And from here you can see where it's just exploded now at over over 11,000 acres. We'll pan over here towards the east, so this would put us over here towards, let's say, the museum, let's say the Mandeville Canyon area. We're starting to make a push in that area. The furthest street I saw to the east would have been Rustic Canyon Road, and it's also starting to continue over the ridgeline and north. It's still got a ways to go before it makes.
So as you see that massive swath of smoke, let's go down into that smoke, because the Palisades fire is exactly where our Brian Enton is standing by live, and it gets a heck of a lot darker when you go underneath that smoke. There's Brian now. First of all, are you in a safe place that you can report to us?
I am, Ashleigh. I mean, look, you're right. When it gets dark, the situation changes out here, and you... I mean, there's no power. Obviously, there's absolutely no cell service. Thank goodness we have a Starlink. It's the only way we can barely get on TV. But I want to step out of the way. I mean, this is what you see when you drive around the Palisades. Most of the houses here are gone. They've burned totally down. And then the ones that are still standing are catching fire. And what happens is, like this one, we've watched it burn down. We've been right in this spot for the last 45 minutes, and there was a whole second floor that is now gone. And the embers will fly from this house, and then they'll go to the neighbor's house, and sadly, then the neighbor's house will catch on fire. It's what we've been watching happen all night long. And firefighters, there's just not enough of them, Ashleigh. I mean, you barely see them. A few of them have driven by, but they don't have water, because the water is an issue in some of these parts of the Palisades. The hydrants aren't working. And then some of the houses they just let go. What they'll do is, if there's a house that looks okay and the roof catches on fire because one of these embers flies over, they'll rush over and put that fire out, trying to save one of the houses before it's too late. But they're working so hard. I mean, I wish you could see some of their faces when they jump out, and there's just not enough of them. It's like, it's never ending. And to just watch houses burn down, this is now, I don't know, the 10th that we've watched burn down in the last couple of hours. It's just such a strange thing, because you're used to, like, oh my gosh, the house is on fire. The firefighters are going to be here soon. And that's not happening out here. There are, I mean, it's just, look this way. I want to show you real quick, Ashleigh. Chris, first of all, the house next door is gone and still sort of on fire. And then right on the block down there, there's another house that's now on fire. And it just goes on and on and on. And you said 1,000 structures damaged. I don't know. I honestly can't keep track.
Yeah,
and
I understand.
I'm gonna put the goggles back on. I hate wearing these goggles. I hate it. They're so uncomfortable.
Yeah, but do it, because
when the wind
that's pretty
when the wind
painful
shifts
stuff
directions.
When the wind shifts.
Yeah, it just shifted. So anyway, it's just, I've covered a lot of hurricanes. I've never covered a fire like this. I mean, I'm from Florida, and it's really, really unbelievable, and it really is apocalyptic. And it's to just go street after street after street where every single house is burned down or is on fire and no one is helping is really like a crazy thing to see.
Well, and you're in Palisades, and I want to remind our viewers, as they see the utter destruction going on behind you, it actually, Brian, is one of the smaller fires now, because the Eaton fire, sort of north and east of you, I can compare, you're in a fire that's about 15,000 acres. These numbers might be wrong. I'm going to get our desk to clear this up. The Eaton fire is listed at about 10,000 acres, but as I looked at it a couple hours ago, it was a lot bigger than the Palisades fire. I'll get that cleared up in a second. But Brian, this count of structures, just like you said, it's hard to keep track of when one starts and another one, hopscotches and is out. They're saying that now it could be upwards of $57 to $60 billion in damage. And, at last count, there were over 300,000 people who didn't have any power. And the only reason you're talking to us is because you've got that Starlink box.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no way to communicate out here. This is Los Angeles. I thought for sure you'll have one bar. We'll have one bar. I'll be able to get a text message out. There has been zero cell phone service since we got into this entire area, when we drove through Malibu area, now up into the Palisades. So no one can communicate. And it's there's people, once in a while, you just saw a truck drive by. There are definitely looters out here, because there are people that on bikes with backpacks, and it's like kind of like a bit of a lawless feeling because there's no police. The firefighters are, I don't know where they are, and it honestly feels, and it's windy again now. The wind died down for a while. It's now getting windy again, and it feels a little bit out of control, to be honest.
Okay, well, do be careful because as that wind shifts, I want to make sure that you and your crew have a proper egress to safety. Like you said, sometimes it's hard to track this and it can change in a dime. So stand by if you will. I'm going to come back to you in a bit, Brian Enton. I want to bring in Captain Eric Scott. He's with the Los Angeles Fire Department. He is a public information officer. Captain Scott, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Listen, thank you so much. I know that you and your, men and women are just so incredibly busy. I did want to ask you a little bit about this new Hollywood fire. This has just broken out. All I'm hearing is that it's climbing towards the Hollywood sign, but I do know that it's very densely populated, a lot of apartment buildings in the Hollywood area. Can you characterize for me that fire?
Yeah, that's just another one of the many fires that we are battling at this time. So it's in the Hollywood Hills area, maybe a little west of the Hollywood Bowl, not too far from Magic Castle, from those who know, and underneath the Hollywood sign. So that's 101 to the east, Mulholland Canyon, Laurel Canyon, and Hollywood Boulevard. So we already put out a mandatory evacuation very quickly, and now we're starting to do other areas that are evacuation warnings to try to get people out ahead of where this fire is moving, which it's moving in a southwest position at this time.
So that's the other question I have for you, is that dropping fire retardant or dropping water has proven to be very difficult because of the winds. You can see the winds on the screen blowing the smoke. The same problem seems to be at play with the water. You drop the water and it simply blows away before it reaches the ground. Is that still part of the big crisis?
Today is much better than yesterday. Last night in the evening, we had to ground all of our aircraft. It was the strongest wind I've been in my 20 years with LAFD. Being a 6'4" and 225 pounds, it moved me all around. It was 100-mile-per-hour gusts. And so we're enduring some of the most historic fire conditions on record. This is extreme fire weather. It's very dry conditions. All the brush is susceptible to a spark. And we're battling fire after fire across the region. It's putting immense pressure on every agency, but we're leaning forward and we're doing the best we can.
Tell me about the water story. All day long, I've been hearing reports about not enough water pressure, not enough water in the reservoirs. The problem for a lot of communities is that they're all using their hoses and their sprinklers, understandably, but it's taking away from the water pressure that the firefighters need. Is that still an issue?
We did experience some challenges with water pressure when we were battling the Pacific Palisades fire. So we have the Department of Water and Power. They did fill all the available water storage tanks, including they had 3 1 million gallon tanks that are located in the Palisades area. But to be honest, the water availability was impacted at the higher elevations. It was a challenge. It affected some of our fire hydrants due to the limited replenishment of the water tanks in those areas. And then you got to imagine the extreme demand for water because we're using so much to put out fires. That's going to slow the refill rate of those reservoirs. So it created a challenge for our firefighting efforts, but they've worked to replenish those reservoirs and to augment water.
And then just real quickly, some people might freak out if they see firefighters starting fires. Can you explain why that is all part of the firefighting process?
Absolutely. Backfire to where there'll be some unburned vegetation at the right conditions that you could clear off some of that by flame. Therefore, when the flame front hits it, it has nothing left to burn, simply is that tactic. To be honest, we're not using that very much. It is entirely too windy, too many problems to do backburning in these highly populated area that are rugged, steep terrain, riddled with multi-level, multi-million-dollar homes. But that is a tool in the toolbox.
And then I just want you to repeat, if you will, for me, the issue with this new Hollywood fire, the one that's just broken out. the Sunset Fire in the Hollywood Hills. Can you tell me how many people are under mandatory evacuation? And if you're able to get to them, my cousin lives up there, and I know that you can barely get cell service at the best of times. And unless you're with Wi-Fi, it's real hard to communicate. How are you letting all those people know they've got to get out of there?
Well, we force notification through wireless emergency alerts. We use LAPD to go up with bullhorns and door knock if necessary. We use traditional and social media, and people are pretty savvy. We leave our sirens on when we're going up there. They see flame, they smell smoke, they see sirens, and they're starting to enact their plan. In reference to the amount of people, well, in the mandatory evacuation area, we have about 24,000 people. The amount of homes in that area is about 5,000. So those are the people that we're telling to get out now. And then we're putting other people on notice. That's the evacuation warning. Again, it's in the southeast because that's the direction the fire is moving. And that's actually a little bit of a bigger area. It's about 27,000 people that are populated in that warning area and about 14,000 homes. So we want those people to be ready. The Ready, Set, Go program is absolutely proven. If you live in those areas, you always need to be ready. You need to have your plan, your brush clearance, harden your home, determine what personal belongings you want that are important to you. And now it's the season that you're in the set. So you could back up your vehicle, put your predetermined belongings in there, because when we tell you to go, we need you to go. These are narrow canyon roads. They're difficult to get in and out, and we need to get access.
Hard to navigate even on a normal day, let alone when everyone is trying to get out one way down the road. I can't thank you enough for this, especially since you and your colleagues are so remarkably busy, Captain Scott. Please, our prayers are with you. Do everything you can, help those people, and we'll check in with you later. Thank you for this.
We thank you.
Captain Eric Scott is with the Los Angeles City Fire Department. I just wanted to let you know, these are some live pictures that you're watching as they try to, again, they're dropping fire retardant and water, but those winds are fierce and nasty, and a lot of times blowing that stuff away. They're doing the best they can, and for people who are upset that houses are burning down with nary a fire crew on site, believe me, this isn't a fair fight. None of this is a fair fight. There is too much burning, and there aren't enough humans with hoses to do the work that everybody needs. And case in point, there is an apartment that apparently is on fire right now. Our Brian Enton broke down his location. He is racing to the scene. Apparently, people are trapped in that apartment. I'm going to fit in a very quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to get to Brian Enton. Of those communities, and so they are clogged. And as if to illustrate that, our own Nancy Liu is in Hollywood right now, and she is clogged in traffic herself. Nancy, I don't know if we've got your shot up. Can I see you, and can you show me what you're seeing?
Yeah. I hope you see me, Ashleigh, and that you can hear me, because this is traffic mayhem in Hollywood. People in Hollywood Hills trying to get out of the hills. And the jam is significant. We're trying to tell this officer that we are media and we need to get through. So we're not having any cars westbound on Franklin just because we have the fire department setting up right there.
Well, the fire department here and set up and do my live shots from the only thing I have right there.
We're trying to.
Is over there where that car. All
right.
Behind that black car.
Okay.
As far as I can let you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come back. Do me a favor. Back on the break. Okay.
All right. Okay. Sorry, we had to talk with the officer there. The fire department is establishing up here on Franklin, so obviously we're going to give them room, because right now in LA, Ashleigh, this area is priority one, because if this canyon, the fire is not put out, it will come down to this area. This is a very densely populated area of Los Angeles. It is right near the Hollywood Boulevard. We just passed the Magic Castle, as well as the Hollywood Bowl. These are iconic areas that, many Americans are familiar with. So Franklin runs parallel to Hollywood Boulevard, just north of it, and we are now closing in on Runyon Canyon. But Ashleigh, I've seen people on the sidewalks with their suitcases, people with their pets walking, some running. So hopefully there's not any panic over here and that people don't abandon their cars, Ashleigh.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask you, because in our line of sight, I can see the gridlock. I know that you're in an area where the media can be to do this reporting, but generally the traffic is what's holding up a lot of people in their evacuation, and I'm looking at apartment buildings. So when you said the fear is that fire is going to come down the hills into this densely populated area, how many apartment buildings are we talking about? Like, how dense is that area with population?
Oh my gosh, it is well into the tens of thousands of people here. This is, Hollywood Hills is very popular. A lot of people, live in this area. It's known for, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get out of the vehicle so I can come, hold on. I am.
No, it's okay. Not to worry. I know that you're sort of reporting raw, but we're just following you on your journey, Nancy.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. Hey, hold on a moment. I'm tangled in my seatbelt.
Okay,
so
untangled. And in the interim, I'm just going to get people up to speed who are joining us. It's the bottom of the hour. If you're just signing on to NewsNation right now, there has been another significant development in the Los Angeles wildfires, and that is that Hollywood is now on fire. The Hollywood Hills are now on fire. And that fire is creeping towards the Hollywood sign, and all of the people in that canyon area, the Laurel Canyon area, are on mandatory evacuation orders. You're watching helicopters. It looks as though they're dropping retardant or water. Hard to tell whether that was smoke or water, but part of the problem is that the winds are still not abating. They're not as bad as they were last night. It was 100 miles an hour last night. The gusts were upwards of 100 miles an hour. That is hurricane force winds with a hurricane force fire. But those drops of water and retardant aren't necessarily hitting their mark because they're getting blown into the wind, which is just devastating when you think about the threat. Okay, Nancy, are you untangled yet? Can you get back to reporting on what you're seeing?
Yeah, I am. Sorry, but we really want to show you this. This is La Brea, and look at this backup, Ashleigh. This is heading out of Hollywood Hills, and people, I see, look, there's a man across the street. He is running with a backpack. I've seen a family with their suitcases and their dog trying to get out, but this is gridlock, and hopefully, I mentioned, we had panic in Pacific Palisades, people who just abandoned their cars, and then those cars had to be plowed away. So look at this. I mean, people are trying to turn in and through this traffic. But for now, it looks very orderly. We do have the officer out here who thankfully, pointed us over into a media area where we could park and show you this gridlock out of the Hollywood Hills, where a mandatory evacuation order is now in effect. And Ashleigh, I know you know my photographer, Nate. His apartment is in the evacuation zone. He's with me, of course. We've been working these fires for days, and now he's not even able to go to his own home, which is in the evacuation zone. So we're not able to go check on his apartment here in the Hollywood Hills. Ashleigh.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Tell Nate that he's got a place to stay with me anytime he needs, and it's a long way away from Los Angeles, but that is just devastating news. Please pass on my regards to Nate, who is kindly providing these pictures to us while his own personal life is falling apart. This is so often the case with journalists who do this kind of breaking news of tragic disasters. The other question I wanted to ask you about, Nancy, have you seen a lot of police presence? I can see the traffic. I can see that they're evacuating. I just can't see the evacuation call. It's really hard to know how police are getting the word out.
I live in Los Angeles, so I got the emergency alert on my phone. It's a loud alert. It's like, evacuate, leave now. And so I've been getting these alerts on my phone. So it will come through even if you don't have service up in the hills. So we are seeing a little bit of a thinning out. But yes, I am seeing a police presence here. Look, we have an officer directing traffic. I saw a lot of LA sheriff's deputies heading down towards Hollywood Boulevard. And, you know, that's the Walk of Fame. Ashleigh, that's where, you know, the stars are, where everybody, all the tourists want to visit. That's where Mann's Chinese Theater is. So we have seen a lot of, wait, there's an airdrop happening right now. Right above us is one of the planes heading over to the fire. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, it was one of the planes
we did. In fact, you know what I want to ask you?
On the fire.
Nancy, can I ask you this? Usually when I'm in that area, there's like a really good view up the hills, right? There's like a good view that you can look upwards to all the fabulous, beautiful, expensive homes. Can you see that from your vantage point? Can Nate turn around and show me that?
Not at the moment, but here's somebody now running away with a suitcase. Right. I mean, there's such a sense of urgency here, Ashleigh. I cannot tell. I've never experienced something like this. It truly is, you know, I've been looking at apocalyptic scenes for the past 2 days because I was at the Palisades fire and then over at the Eaton fire, and it's just devastation. Those downtown areas, they're gone, Ashleigh. I mean, really pretty much gone. I've seen schools that are gone, and now I'm seeing people running. So I feel like it's an apocalypse. You know what? Ashleigh, it's just
Let me only
bizarre.
jump in for a moment, Nancy. Don't go anywhere, Nancy. I want you to keep that reporting. But when we saw that person running with a suitcase, my next guest is doing something about this. Those people are running with barely any possessions, and they're going to need a lot. They're going to need clothes and shoes and people who've lost everything. I don't even need to introduce my next guest. It's Sharon Stone. She lives in Los Angeles, and she is working with different charities to try to help those who are going to be in need. Sharon, you are so sweet to join me on this last-minute notice. Tell me what you're doing.
Well, we're doing several things. My sister called me this afternoon. She and another publicist friend of ours are working. They've opened a store, worked together with a store on Beverly Boulevard. It's called The Coop, C-O-O-P. So if you have gently used clothes, shoes, bedding, anything that these disenfranchised people may need, please come immediately to The Coop. Starting tomorrow morning at 10, and you can drop them off. If you need things, come to the Coop. This is for people who need any of these things. Please come there. This is where you can get them. It's a distribution center. Also, I've been taking friends into my home. I have families coming now to move in with us, and we're just setting up. We're setting up a place to be able to help people. We're setting up beds and just room in the house, and that's it. We're just we're loading up trucks and taking everything we have over to the Coop, and we're inviting our friends over to move in with us here. A lot of people are being evacuated.
Is that your son with you? I just want to find out who I'm talking to. Rowan? Is that Rowan?
Yes. It's
Hi,
such
Rowan.
a tragedy what's going on. I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for doing this. I want to ask you, Rowan, as well, how are you guys doing? Are you in a safe place with your mom?
Yes, we're in a safe place, and I think we're so blessed to be in a safe place when many aren't. And I think all that we can do as people who are in a safe place is give back, especially to those who have lost everything.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Sharon, tell me what you've been seeing.
Well, the winds have been so bad that Rowan has literally had to walk with me to help me walk outside in these recent days to help me to get through outside so that we don't get knocked out by the debris.
Honestly, it's so bad that it's hard to stand up against the power of the winds.
Yes.
And I think people, as much as they can, I was going back from Anaheim yesterday, should try to stay off the highway because it makes it hard for all the fire trucks from out of town to get in town to help with the fires. And a good friend of mine who's fighting the fires right now said that it's hard for them to fight the fires because they don't have enough engines.
So we need firemen from other places. We need volunteer firemen. We recognize that there has been apocalyptic tragedies all over the world, and we recognize as well that this will get better if we all help each other. And so we would welcome any help from firemen around the country. And we will put you up in the homes that we have that are not affected. So please, firemen, get out here and give us a hand. We need extra fire trucks, and we need hands and we need helpers. So we invite the country to help us. We need you. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sharon, your words right away, I can tell you Oregon is sending strike teams, 12 different strike teams, 240 firefighters and 60 engines after Los Angeles made the request. So what you're going to be seeing in the coming days is a lot of help from neighboring states. And thank you for doing this collection at the Coop in Beverly Hills for those who are going to need, lightly used clothing and products. And thank you for talking to us. Rowan, thank you as well. Be safe, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Ashleigh, you're a great friend, and I've met you during our work with the Red Cross, and I just want to say you're always there when these things happen. I really appreciate seeing you here again.
God bless you, Sharon. Let's catch up in better times, okay? I'm going to come and visit you, and things are going to be much better. I so appreciate that.
Thank you, Ashleigh. I love you. Thank you,
Ashleigh.
And
bye.
I want to just sort of hopscotch off to what Sharon said about people coming together in Los Angeles. A little later in the program, Harvey Levin is going to join me as well. That's something he's noticing as well. If anybody knows Los Angeles, it's the guy who started TMZ, and he is telling me about how people are coming together in a time when we are so divisive in this country. Well, fire is not only the great equalizer when it damages people, it also has brought a lot of people together. I'm going to fit in a quick break. Back right after this. Which is now our newest fire to report. And if you know the Hollywood Hills, you know it's where the Hollywood sign is. It's also densely populated and very difficult to evacuate. Yet, there are mandatory evacuation orders to get out of those hills, and it is causing absolute gridlock for people who are using those one lane in, one lane out egressways to get out. They've been told there were alerts that went over their phones. Communications are real tough in those hills. Unless you have Wi-Fi, but so many people have lost power and lost Wi-Fi. And then, of course, cell service is very sketchy, whether they get the alerts or not. Just to update you, Palisades fire is still a problem. Eaton, Hearst, Lydia, Woodley, and now this newest Sunset fire, all in Los Angeles County. In Ventura County, a fire erupted. It's called the Olivas fire. It's 11 acres at last count, but that's a while ago, and it's spreading really fast. Riverside County is the Scout fire at 12 acres again. They're spreading at the rate of multiple football fields per minute, oftentimes with these winds. So these are at last count. We'll update as soon as we get a newer update. I can tell you there have been a number of significant injuries from the fires. This is according to officials. Tens of thousands of structures threatened. So far, the only stat is that about 1,000+ structures have been destroyed, but that is so outdated, I can tell you that. Our producer, Allison Weiner, is live on the phone with me right now. She lives in the Hollywood area, and I think you're on the phone with me because the Zoom, signal is just not strong enough. Tell me what you're seeing.
Well, I'm actually in the Hollywood Hills, and we live a little facing the Hollywood sign. So I could see it when it's lit up. And basically, I'm looking at the hilltop where there's a top, and I've seen fires up there before. But basically, it's on the other side of the hill, not the hill not the side that faces the city. But I'm there, and there's tons of helicopters around, and they're really got a lot of people up there trying to make sure that the sign doesn't go up in flames. Sadly, to the a little bit to the side of that, couple of less than a mile from me, probably about 0.2 miles, is the Hollywood Bowl, and that seems to be right in the middle of things. And my son lives over that way, and he just had to evacuate. It's over at our house now, but we're packed and ready to go if we have to. But it's it's just kind of dark and kind of quiet here, except for helicopter sound, which we have usually.
When will you know? When will you know, Allison, if you have to get out of there? I know your car is packed, and that's what the fire officials said to us at the beginning of the program. We've told people to pack their cars and get ready for the word. How will you get that word?
Well, it's coming on the phones, and we still have service. And and my folks live like down into the city, so we can go down there. But we're kind of waiting because it looks like the fire is spreading a little bit towards the south of us. So we're kind of hopeful, and we're ready. I mean, we're just on the edge, like I said, like about 0.2 miles from the evacuation zone. So we're waiting. My son was out on Franklin that you were showing with Nancy Lou, and it was crazy. He had to drive over here, and it took him forever because we wanted him to come with us when we leave, since he had to leave too already. We don't have to leave yet. But you can hear sirens, you can hear helicopters, and that's about it. I saw the lights of my neighbors because we're up on a hill, and I started getting ready. There's a lot of cars packed, and they're facing ready to leave. Like I said, we're not.
Can you see at the top. Can you see flames at all from where you are? Can you see flames, or at least can you see the glow? Because that's just as daunting.
I could totally see the glow, and I can't see any flames because they're on the other side of the hill, and unless the fire jumps the freeway, we should be okay. But if it jumps the freeway, we got a problem, and we'll have to get out of here.
So you're basically just waiting for the alert. Is that it?
Yeah. It's been a day. I mean, but we're not as bad off as the people in Altadena. And the people, there's a helicopter up there right now with a strong light on it, lighting up the area. So I wonder if they're telling those people to get out of there. I can't hear anything, but it's a little different kind of a helicopter. But the winds have died down. Good news. So hopefully they'll be able to get a handle on this. But I don't know. We're right in the middle of it, so I just don't know. But we're ready to go. And I've got one of my kids here and the other one's safe. So I really care about it.
Nancy was telling us, Allison, that she could hear the helicopters above. We could hear them in the live shot, almost drowning her out. They were so close. Are you hearing them above you as well?
Yes. They're very close, yeah. I mean, but you know what? Like I said, it's Hollywood. We're used to hearing a lot of helicopters, but it's not as bad as last night when the winds were blowing out windows. So, I mean, at least the wind isn't as bad as it was last night. So I'm praying that works out and that they get a hold of this one, because the houses, when you say densely populated, I mean, people have no idea. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm standing on my roof and I could see, I can't count how many people I could see. I mean, it is really, we're all packed in here. So,
I mean, that's the other question I have for you is the wind. We had heard, last night at this time I was on the air saying that, my God, the worst is yet to come. The gusts are going to be 100 miles an hour overnight. They abated slightly during the day, but now there's word that they're going to be picking up again. In fact, let me give you the exact report that I had here about the winds. The National Weather Service said that there's going to be some brief reprieve tonight, but then pick up again tomorrow afternoon, peaking tomorrow night, overnight, and continuing into Friday. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a break in sight. What are the winds like right now?
It's not too bad. I'm on the roof, and I wouldn't be up here. I didn't want to go outside. It was everything was blowing all over the place. And this morning we woke up, and I sent you pictures of downtown. That's that horrible haze from the Altadena fire. We were right in between, so we were thinking, hey, but with the winds blowing, the embers blowing, it's just nobody's safe. It's really quite.
We're actually getting those. We're getting those pictures up right now. The pictures that you sent from your apartment, so that people can see where it is that you are right now. And again, I'm just going to remind people that Allison Weiner's on the phone with us because the signal just isn't strong enough to get up on Zoom right now. So she's on the phone with us, but she's one of our NewsNation producers, lives in the Hollywood Hills, and has been reporting regularly to us the conditions that she's been seeing. Do we have those pictures that Allison sent a little earlier of her vantage point, and especially Allison, the picture you sent of the sunrise this morning? Honestly, it looked like something out of Mad Max. These are your pictures, Allison. I don't know if you can see a TV screen. That's the Mad Max picture.
I could go inside,
sunrise.
But I can't seem to. Yeah, I can't. I'm outside.
No, not to worry. Not to worry. Your sunrise was just just total hellscape, and I know people have used that a lot. But did you think when you woke up this morning you'd be in this situation tonight?
No, I thought we were okay. I mean, I think that's what everybody keeps thinking. You keep thinking you're fine. You hear the helicopter? It's right over me.
Is that's not the video I'm seeing? That's live audio from your phone signal, the helicopters?
Yes. Did you hear? I mean, it's like, it's for the...
Yeah, I can. I can hear them.
I turned it off. It was like...
Are you seeing them?
The house is... Yeah.
Are you seeing them dropping water or fire retardant?
But, you see them everywhere. I mean, it's like, I've seen like about 5. So, but I wanted to tell you, if you look at the picture of the Hollywood sign from this morning and the smoke from the Altadena fire, do you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
I can. What is it? What is it we're hearing?
That's a helicopter. Helicopters. Like I said, I'm out on my roof in the Hollywood Hills, and it's a traffic jam up above. 1, 2,
traffic
3.
jam above and below you, to be certain.
Exactly. Yeah. What I was going to say, if you look at the picture from this morning. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, quickly.
Just if you look at the pictures from this morning and the Hollywood sign, that Hollywood sign is, and on the other side of the Hollywood sign, on the other side of that hill, is where the fire is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at your picture right now. Trying to get everybody oriented, and so far I think that it's too dangerous to get a camera near the Hollywood sign right now as the flames encroach upon it. And again, it's not that the Hollywood sign is something that needs to be saved. Obviously, there are no wedding albums and there are no sports medals collected in the Hollywood sign. It's just an icon of Los Angeles that a lot of people recognize. All right, I have to get to break real quickly. I'm going to come back to Allison when she has new reporting for us, as well as Brian Enton. We are continuing the watch on the new Hollywood fire as it creeps closer and closer to the residences and the people there. Back in a moment.
Rizzy. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It is the top of the hour, 11 o'clock Eastern. It is a hellscape again tonight. If you're just tuning in, the big news tonight is that the Hollywood Hills are burning. It is yet another fire that was sparked earlier this evening, the Sunset Fire. And officials are telling people in the Hollywood Hills, if you're not in the immediate evacuation zone, like Laurel Canyon area, pack your car and get ready for the alert. It's remarkable. You can just see the flames like picking up and then lighting up the smoke above them. Hollywood Hills, folks. It's where the Hollywood sign is if you're not familiar with LA. It's also populated with extremely beautiful homes, very, very expensive, beautiful homes up in those hills.